recently, in my Discord community, there was a question about, how to deal with parents who keep on expecting more and more out of you because they had a lot of investment towards you, and how dare you, repay us this way. Okay, that view is getting a lot of views, which tells me that a lot of people sort of have this problem with parents, right? And I sent an email about this today as well, but relationship with parents can be kind of a really tough spot to be in because why? On one end, when it comes to your parents, right? You may be serving other roles. You may be the IT person for your parents. You may be the, handyman for your parents. You may be the errand boy or girl in the relationship with your parents. And you may be the taxpayer. You may be the paperwork person. You may be the phone person in your... But underneath all of that, the base feature that defines you in the context of your parents is that you are their child. And any child, what they want, and especially when the child is young and tender, what they need is their love. They're unconditional and they're very dedicated love. But that's on one end, right? Like, yeah, they can beat the crap out of you or whatever. Yeah, they cannot feed you. Yeah, like, from your perspective, even after going through all of that, when you can be assured that they love you unconditionally, it's all kind of bearable. And I, unfortunately, am able to say this because I've seen this happen over and over in Asian countries, right? Because in Asia, it's very common for parents to beat their children. But then, at the end, what? It's because I love you. And I've seen that sentiment wash away many, many years of physical punishment. Okay, so on one end, what you really want is that acknowledgement and that validation and that celebration of their love towards you. You want it verifiably seen, you want it tangibly felt. On the other hand, your parents, because they're such an intimate part of your life, they can really make your life miserable, right? And they can really start interjecting themselves in your life, start influencing all the decisions you make, and then they can try to borrow money from you, they can start to steal money from you, and then they can get into legal troubles, and they can not be around in your life at all. They can partly be around, they can cause, infidelity, divorces, and all these things that you don't want to necessarily be part of, right? Maybe they can move around a lot, causing you to always move around a lot. Okay, so on the other hand, it's like you can have a very hateful relationship with your parents. Like, they are kind of like the root of all your problems, right? So that's on the other end. But what makes this relationship even more complex is that these two opposing forces are always at interplay with each other. You hate your parents' gut, but at the same time, you need and want their love. And you need and want their love, but at the same time, they're not only not giving you that, they're actively making your life a little bit more difficult. So, as with any situations where you're in the middle ground, it helps to pick a perspective. Now, I understand that these things are very difficult things to kind of it's not a life hack, right? This is something to keep in your mind as you talk about your parents' relationships with your therapist and with your trusted confidence. And when you have tried all of those things but they are not really getting you anywhere, this is the kind of stuff that you could really start entertaining in your head about. On one end, you can decide that your parents are just basically worse than people you don't know, and they're not going to be a part of your life anymore. And this happens to a lot of people, right? Now, this means you're not going to get their love, but it's okay. The benefits totally outweigh the cost. This is one way to not suffer anymore. Because why? You've made a decision. And you're not lingering anymore. Suffering usually comes from lingering. On the other hand, you can decide to love your parents no matter what. So, when you decide to leave the relationship with your family, you're deciding to do so even if they seem like they're changing their ways. Even if they say they're sorry, right? Same as the other side. When you decide to unconditionally love your parents, you are deciding that they can do whatever they want. They can gamble their house away. They can, I don't know, like not walk their dog. They can not do their dishes. They can make their lawns go crazy overboard like a jungle. They can not pay their taxes. It's okay. You decided to love them. And this is hard, right? But so is having a toddler. And so is having a new pet. Because they pee everywhere, they barf at really inconvenient times, you need to feed them. They're really inconvenient, right? To be completely honest, like, wouldn't you rather not take care of these things that need a lot of attention? But in the end, why do you do it? Like, dogs bite. Children, they grow. Go through puberty, they can say some really spiteful things. But why do you still do it? You still do it because you love them, right? And that is the key feature here that we're trying to tune into, that feeling of unconditional love that you can give for your parents. Okay? So those are your two tracks that you can choose. And what makes these choices difficult? The fact that you can always go back and forth between them, right? But now you know, the more you go back and forth, the more miserable you're going to be. So it helps to pick and go with it, right? But to pick between the two, there's kind of a difference between them, right? And it seems like I'm advocating for you to, love and things like that because it's the right thing to do and I want you to take the higher road or whatever. But no, actually, there's a very practical reason why love oftentimes turns out to be a more optimal choice in your life. Now, this is talking really realistically. When you leave a relationship with someone and just like when you're done with someone, right? Who are you usually done with? The people that you despise, right? And who are the people that you despise? People who have really horrible qualities, right? The people who just disgust you. The people who bring so much misery and suffering into your life. Those are the people you hate and you want to cut off from your life. But because of the nature of the relationship between you and your parents, when your parents are despicable people, that means you are a descendant of a despicable person. That means the qualities that these despicable people have, you will find in yourself, and you will treat yourself like a despicable person. And these are very unconscious things that lie deep, deep inside of your heart. And they get to influence every kind of decision that you make. On the surface, you feel really miserable, but then one layer down, it's because you deeply believe that you are unlovable. And when you go one level down, why do you believe you're unlovable? It's because I have these bad qualities. Like, I'm inherently bad. I have these inherently bad qualities. Where do you get them from? From my parents. Why? Because my parents are bad people. And these types of conversations happen so many times in a coaching context. And I'm sure in therapy context as well. But flip that around. When you love your parents unconditionally, what type of people get unconditional love? Just really lovely people, right? People who just exude lovability. And they're just adorable. They're like angels. And when you shift your love to that, what do you automatically become? You automatically become the descendant of an angel. You automatically become this precious and lovely person. That's why I think it's so important underneath that layer of gratitude that you have for your parents for giving your life and helping you get to wherever you are. We can talk a little bit more about that in another video. It helps when you love them because that means they are lovely people. And you might be thinking, can I love them even when they're despicable people? You could. But will it make your love consistent and pure? Or will you have to keep arguing, oh, okay, I decided to love them. That's not the point, right? When you're white knuckling through things, like you're enduring, I don't want you to endure because that accumulates stress. I don't want your life to be stressful with these decisions. These decisions are meant to remove and reduce suffering from your life. And in order to reduce them, you need to make a decision. And the decision to commit. Not begrudgingly do it because freaking Billy says so. Not that. Hope this helps.